And welcome back here to the CoachHemi.com Showcase Game 3 of 4 here from the Underclass division. This one is going to feature Team 1 versus Team 3. Marcus Burnett joined by Kyle Moore here on the mic. Appreciate you joining us, as even though we're looking at the last two games of this count, it seems like everybody's got a second win as we approach these final two games.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's got a little atmosphere from the coaches. They seem locked in. And last game for the kids, so hopefully they leave it all out on the floor. Cutter here. Ball knocked out of bounds. Going to be white ball. White team having a hard time throwing the ball in. Got it into play. Pull up three. Good. Count that. Put it on the board. Ooh, Hemingway with the crossover to the rack. Good hustle. And got a little trash talk between the coaches over here. A little lively banter, as I like to call it. Travel right there up top from Hemingway. Long three, short. At the free throw line, knocks it down. Hemingway bringing the ball over half court, and I've got my good friend here, Coach Hemi, Jonathan Hemingway.
Hey Kyle, good to be back here on the microphone for game number 3 of our spring showcase. Had to do a little bit of administrative work there during game number 2, and I'm all ready to go here. Excited about finishing out strong here of this spring showcase. Nice bucket there by number 152. That's Ashton Funderburg. She had a solid game back in game 2 from what I could tell.
She did. She did.
Can you take this to the locker room before your dad's on?
I'll tell you what, one thing I can say, and this is a testament to you and your staff and all the hard work you put into this. For as much basketball and as long as the day has been for some of these kids that have played multiple sessions, there really hasn't been a letdown at all as far as the effort and quality of play. You know, I've been impressed.
Yeah, and if anything, they've pushed themselves too hard.
Yes.
You know, you can tell on the background we shut down the skill sessions here for the second half because these kids they were driving themselves, and a lot of them were a little bit too tired for gameplay. So for the second game session, we shut down the skill sessions and hoping to finish strong here for our third showcase game, or showcase session, I should say.
You knew what you meant.
Uh-oh. Big time matchup right here between Jayla Winnington and Jayla Hemingway and Alexis Winnington.
No, one thing about Hemingway is, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, she's really smooth and she's skilled, but where she's going to have problems It'll be interesting to see how she develops in this area, is trying to score over length and around quickness. She's not physically really long or really explosive, and I think Winnington brings length to the table in that matchup, and that's why she has to try to go through her.
Well, the good thing about Hemingway, at least at this particular juncture, a lot of 8th graders, you look at them and say, there's some potential there.
No.
We're looking at Hemingway and we're saying, well, she can produce. Now we're taking it to
Yes, we're nitpicking.
Yes.
Let's be clear, we are nitpicking. She is a heck of a basketball player.
And the fact that she's able to get a jump out on where she is with her skill set means, you know, by the time she's a freshman, she's learning how to shoot the teardrop, whereas a lot of kids, by the time they even learn how to do a right to left, you know, crossover, well, it's too late to learn those other things.
Exactly.
Good pull-up jumper right there by Maya Fuller, number 55 there in white.
Isaacs continues to be a beast on the defensive side of the floor.
It's our second weekend in a row watching Jordan Isaacs. She was actually at the EBA Top 40 last weekend.
I'm a big Jordan Isaacs fan. I compared her to Erica Cassell at the same age. They have a lot of similarities. I think Cassell was a more effective rebounder, but not as much of an athlete as Isaacs was at the same age. But ceiling is very, very, very high for this kid.
Lay in there by number 74. That's Jada Taylor, another kid out of the West Tennessee area. And the black team getting caught ball watching a little bit right here. Here's Taylor over on the wing. She'll take the jumper, and it's good. That's a three-point jumper there by Jada Taylor.
Taylor struggled to make shots in the first game, and she looks more comfortable now.
Floater on the way, not there. And shot blocked out of bounds. Number 100, that's Shelby Jane Petty. Or as I like to call her, Abby Wright 2.0, because she goes to Oakland Middle School.
Oh, Abby Wright. Swiss Army Wright.
That's right.
We were calling Shelby Jane Petty snakeskin shorts because she is wearing those shorts. That is quite a fashion statement, cool pair of shorts. I've not seen those in a gym anytime soon.
You got to believe that Brandon Clay has automatically elevated Shelby Jane way up his list because of that fashion.
That's a Brandon Clay type of look right there. Shelby Jane Petty and Brandon Clay might be shopping at the same stores. Looks like a foul there on Shelby Jane Petty. Swiss Army Wright 2.0.
Going to the foul line here, number 110. That's Delia Martinez. I remember that name from game number 1. Had a nice game 1. She's here game number 2, and she knocks down that shot.
Swiss Army Wright earned her nickname
at the Coach Hemi
last year's
showcase. That's right. That's right.
Nice 3 there from number 94. She's been effective all afternoon, making plays with and without the basketball. Ooh.
Turnover here.
Ooh.
Shelby Jane with it behind the back. She's going to get in the ball fake. Oh, that was a Chris Watkins highlight written all over it if she would have gotten that one to fall.
Soccer.
Martina said, I've had enough of this. Here's Funderburg with the basketball out top, gives it over to Petty.
Likes to play on the perimeter.
Funderburg?
Yes.
Yeah, got a little bit of that out there. Yeah, got a little bit of that face-up game. She would be a good, what I would call, elbow player. Play at the free throw line. Kind of facilitate the action.
Good move. Good move.
107, Haley Luttrell with the lay-in just a moment ago. Coming back the other direction here, Team Black. This is 101, Madison Hennegar, the basketball. And the ball's going to go out of bounds back to the white team. Petty's going to get it. Nice little handle behind the back, gives it over to Hawkins. And she's going to drive in, draw the foul, three-point play. Your thoughts on Kirsten?
How many and ones has she had today?
Well, that's
like every time.
That's her style. You know, she is one of those slashers that does not mind contact whatsoever.
Not at all. It's like a bull in the china shop.
Your thoughts on Hawkins overall, Kyle?
No, I talked earlier about just the ball finding energy and kids that play hard and make things happen through effort. And she epitomizes that. You know. Doesn't necessarily, wow, good pull up. Doesn't necessarily grade out as, you know, the most athletic or tallest or, you know, all those physical things. But her motor, she just runs, she's skilled, she plays hard. She just does really good things. Good take.
Hey, man, that's a lot of contact. And then he gonna call that.
I could not agree more with you, and I'm not really sure what Kirsten Hawkins' official position is. You know, if you want to give her a one
basketball player.
She is a basketball player. And she scores points, she gets rebounds, she gets deflections, she gets skill. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
She makes me think of a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is an NBA reference, and I'm not trying to say anything other than for just style.
Yeah.
It's Draymond Green.
There you go.
She's got a lot of Draymond Green in her game. You know, you can do different things with her because of her effort level and her skill set.
I love guards that post as she goes right into the post right here. I think that it's just, you know, unfortunately that ball goes out of bounds. I think that it's just so hard. Most guards are not comfortable guarding, you know, in the painted area.
You remember last week, I won one of the camp games last week just by posting Quinicia Morrison.
There you go.
Morrison, just, you know, let's play 4 around 1 and let's put our guard inside. We had a couple of bigs that could shoot the 3, and let's force them to double. And now you have a guard in the post who's more accustomed to making passes under pressure. Yeah. And if it's a kid that can make the plays like Hawkins and Morrison, you put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Yeah, and then you play off of that action too. You get kids, you know, cutting to the bucket. You know, let your tall, skinny post player shoot the 15-footer, you know, from the elbow or such. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Pass inside, Taylor can't get it to go. Fuller's going to come down with the rebound. Fuller's going to try to find Winnington and does.
Finish. I like Winnington. Yeah. She does nice things. She does nice things.
Winnington and Alexander along that front line for Riverdale was quite a problem this year, and both of them just freshmen.
Isaac's in transition. You know she's going to that left hand. Now here's one thing we were looking at with Isaacs earlier. With this free throw, and she's been to the line a lot today. She tends, when she misses, she tends to push it out eye level. And when she's making it, she tends to get it up over her head. That's over her head, and she missed it short.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
What do I know?
Well, as I used to talk about in my shooting camps, the youth leagues and all of that, a high 1-second follow-through. You know, you can have a 1-second follow-through, but if it's not high, it's not going to go in. But speaking of a high follow-through.
Are you kidding me? She's giving it out every which way you want it.
She's a baller, man. I had first opportunity I watched Kirsten Hawkins was actually at the end of the road championships up here, in a nice jumper there by Taylor.
Let me tell you this, Coach Hemingway.
Yeah.
If she's not a part of a recap, a video blog, or something you do in the next upcoming weeks Fire yourself.
Actually, that's why I was hiring you.
She has been phenomenal.
Taylor on the wing, jumper not there. Hawkins going to come down with the rebound, of course. 5 seconds left here. She's going to push it ahead to Jordan Isaac. She's going to get in there and just off the mark.
Almost finished that one.
And that'll do it there for the first half of game number 3 of the CoachHemi.com Spring Showcase. We'll be back in just a moment.
She does for fun?
What's that?
She crawls around a cage.
You need me to stick around?
Nah, man, go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead, man.
I'm about to be done. Yeah.
No, I got you, man. I understand. Dude, hey, don't take any chances either.
Yeah, we didn't expect that much out of it. Here's a problem. Here's a problem.
Yeah, that's not.
Who did that? Her parents? That's a serious problem. So you'd be the best post player in the state
Yeah.
for 2 years. Please stop that. Immediately. Get 10 rebounds a game. Be a top 10 kid in the country, 25 kid in the country, and try to make $100,000 a year. You feel me? And don't cave. No cave.
And don't be attached to a position.
Don't be attached to a position. Let's talk about that.
I think so.
I think that's something we should talk about. Don't you think that's something we should talk about?
I don't want to interrupt y'all. Let's talk about how these referees are hosing me right now. And I'm really not appreciating this right now. It's blowing a whistle on this end of the floor. Let's talk about that.
Aren't you down 17?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't blame that on the refs.
And we are back here at the CoachHemi.com Spring Showcase. I'm Jonathan Hemingway, joined by Kyle Moore. Got a great game right here between Team 1 and Team 3.
Isaacs.
And right on cue, Jordan Isaacs with the back to the basket spin move. The lefty, the soft touch off the glass.
Looking like a young Hakeem.
Right back at you, Jayla Hemingway with the rebound put back. Shelby Jane
back
Petty.
at you, Isaacs.
The kiss off the glass. I like it. Hemingway going to get it over to Luttrell. Luttrell with the floater. She's going to get hit on the arm.
Minimal contact there. Minimal.
Hey, Coach Sanford just came over here saying that he wasn't getting enough calls, and that was one of the reasons why he's down 17 points. Maybe.
He worked on. He might have earned that one. Too much whining.
Luttrell gets a free throw to go. That's 2 points, and somebody needs to track down Jordan Isaacs in transition.
If I was Sean, I'd worry about Isaacs and not the refs.
And Hemingway can't find Taylor. Shelby Jane Petty gets it ahead to Winnington. Winnington with the pull-up jumper.
I like the fact she used the glass.
No doubt.
Kids don't do that enough.
Funderburg inside, showing that she can do a little work with her back to the basket. Here's Hemingway with it, guarded by Winnington, gets it inside to Taylor. Taylor kicks it out. Back out to Taylor, three-pointer, good. Number 74 in black, that is Jada Taylor.
Ball three.
Alexis Whittington.
Whittington is not out here playing games.
Turnover there. Taylor gets it to Isaacs.
Winnington again.
Good defense there by Hemingway. I like
Bang.
that. And a good jumper there by number 199.
Got to give it to Brandon Clay. A 20-point lead, a commanding lead from Brandon Clay's team.
Here's Hemingway down the lane. Lefty not there. Isaac's going to come up with it.
Isaac has to have 10 rebounds right now. He's been all over the glass. Winnington.
A little attention to the defensive end might be good for Coach Sanford.
Yeah, he needs to rally his troops. Small three.
Kick it out.
Bang.
110.
That's one thing about Tennessee. There's never a shortage of shooters. Isaacs from the perimeter.
Shelby Jane Petty off the mark.
Right back inside. Look at her. She's in there.
It was Delia Martinez that hit the three the possession before. Called her name several times. Here's Hemingway with the basketball. Comes up with steal. She seems to be just as comfortable going to her left hand as she does with her right hand.
She's highly skilled. Highly, highly skilled.
We were talking while we were off the air at halftime, Kyle, about this idea of positions. What would you classify Jayla Hemingway, long term?
No, I think projection-wise, you call her a 2, but in evaluating players, very rarely. There are times, but very rarely do you look at positions as pigeonholes. You look at positions as, I've heard Jalen Rose say this, and I'm sure you've heard him say it as well. Positions were created to help a novice follow the sport. And just because you call someone a shooting guard doesn't mean that they can't post up. Because you call someone a center doesn't mean that they can't shoot jumpers. Because you call someone a point guard doesn't mean that they can't post up or drive it or rebound at a high rate.
Or come off of screens.
Yes, yeah. So, I think Jayla Hemingway, kids like that, their games have to be built around them being successful basketball players. What are my strengths? Understanding what your weaknesses are, working to improve them, but also understanding that when you get into elite competition settings, that they're weaknesses and that those shouldn't be what you go to first. Having a great understanding of your game as Isaac hits the jumper there, and the ability to kind of be aware of where are my scoring spots? What are spots on the floor where I can be most effective? What are spots on the floor where I'm not effective? And different matchups. Is this a matchup I'm going to be able to exploit? Is this a matchup that I'm going to have a hard time with? And is there a better matchup on the floor? I watch a lot of college games where you can kind of see kids. I thought this happened last night in the Virginia, North Carolina game. Justin Anderson is the guy for Virginia that has scored the ball all season long, but he had J.P. Takoto on him, probably the best defender in the ACC. And if J.P. Takoto is guarding you and you're on the number 2, number 3 team in the country, there's probably a better matchup somewhere on the floor. But Anderson kept wanting to take a big shot because he was accustomed to doing that. And that's the next step for him as a player, just realizing this isn't the best matchup for me tonight. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be aggressive, but I'm not going to be overly aggressive. I'm going to kind of let the game come to me, and we're going to try to exploit different things on the floor. So I don't think kids should let positions and let skill sets pigeonhole them. If you're a post player and they're playing you at the post, find ways to be effective.
Very good point there, Kyle, as we see Kirsten Hawkins going to work in the post. And I like that idea that you said, positions are really for novices, for understanding the game. And I think I always refer back to Bashara Graves, the power forward at
Tennessee,
at the University of Tennessee. And in all honesty, and another left-handed layup there by Hawkins, she's a center. you know, her skill set is, you know, 5 feet and in. You know, she does a great job of sealing, rebounding, and doing all of those things. But because she's 6'1", we got to call her, you know, a 4 player. But does that really mean anything? Well, no. You know, you match her when Mercedes Russell comes in, or even Izzy Harrison, you know, for that matter. Nice shot there by Taylor. You know, you pair her with a longer 5 player that maybe, maybe, you know, prefers to work further away from the bucket. Does that mean that they're not really a center? Well, you know, coaches, you know, use these different types of players and the skill sets to make it work within the offensive scheme, or even the defensive scheme for that matter.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example. I think, you know, you talk about kids like Bashara, you know, even kids like, you know, staying with Tennessee, kids like Sierra Burdick, as skilled as she is, you know, she has wing ability. She can play. That's a kid that can play at the 3 for a majority of the game, and as she's done in her career. But you get into some games, and it's like a great matchup is to play her at the 4, bring their 4 player away from the rim, and, you know, technically she's playing the 4. Maya Moore did this her whole career at UConn. Maya Moore played the 4, but no one's saying Maya Moore can't shoot, Maya Moore can't handle.
Right.
But play the 4, stretch the floor, open things up for your teammates, and now force mismatches where now instead of being guarded by maybe the best perimeter defender on the other team, now you're being guarded by another post player, because a lot of times teams don't necessarily want to match down to teams that are playing small, especially when UConn and Tennessee and people like that aren't necessarily playing small, because they're playing a skilled kid, a skilled 6'2" kid at the 4 position that's not small.
Great point. Great point. Got it here, inbounding. This is 101. But quickly back the other direction is Thunderberg. And we're going to keep it here. Winnington set to inbound it. Thunderberg with the basketball.
You know, just to harbor on that point a little bit more, Candace Parker might be the she might be, and there's an argument here, and I'll listen to anyone who wants to tweet at us and make a debate, but she might be the most skilled player for her size. When you put together, you know, inch for inch over a certain size, her skill set and her athleticism and all the things, the kind of physical gifts in terms of God-given ability and then skill level, she plays the 4.
Yeah.
And she is a constant matchup nightmare for every WNBA team. You know, I was at the game when they played the Atlanta Dream, and they had the Dream had serious problems in terms of figuring out, okay, how can we put Angel McCautry on Candace Parker on defense, but then still be able to rebound and do things that we want to do on the glass on offense. You know, the Dream usually play 2 post players and have kind of like double post high-low situation, and they just had to match small. And those are the things that you're talking about in terms of positions.
Sure.
Don't get caught up on stuff like that. Become the best basketball player you can be, and then figure out how you can be, as Hemingway takes that pull-up, figure out how you can be successful.
Here's Maya Fuller going coast to coast, and the lay-in is good. And another thing I would like to point out when you start talking about being able to do a variety of things, you know, point guards that are able to play off of the ball, and and shooting guards that can play point guard. And I think a Crystal Dangerfield is a great example of this, and a good shot there by Hemingway. Dangerfield is going to be an air quote point guard at the next level, but you can put Dangerfield at the shooting guard position, and she's going to average double digits, you know, a night, you know, so that versatility, you know, from guard spot to guard spot, I think is very.
No, you hit that right on the head. I think you talk about kids like Crystal. You know, you watch Notre Dame and what they do with Jewel Lloyd and Lindsey Allen, and you know, Lindsey Allen is up for the Nancy Lieberman Award as one of the best point guards in the country. She's a finalist of that top 5, and there are whole halves where Lindsey Allen is playing off the ball, catching the ball inside of their Princeton, and still distributing and creating and knocking down shots. She's still playing the role of a point guard, but Jewel Lloyd might be playing on the ball and bringing the ball over half court. I think that's something they're going to do a lot next year when you add Allie Patberg and Marina Mabry and Enrique Ogunbowale. Like, those are more ball handlers. It doesn't mean that Lindsey has to be the primary ball handler for 40 minutes, but it also doesn't mean that Lindsey can't play to her skill set and create offense for others and knock down jump shots.
I really like those guards that, and I hate the word combo guard because it really just implies that you've got a guard that's not really good enough to play the point,
It's
full time. Yeah, it is. But I like guards, and we see this with the UCLA guards. Rasay Caldwell and Jordan Canada. That they're interchangeable. They can go off the ball, get a down screen, hit a three-point shot, or they can bring the ball up, initiate the offense, as a so-called point guard too. So, for you young kids out there, listening, to this broadcast, develop your skills to where you can play multiple positions. And maybe you're a 5'5" point guard, but maybe you play alongside of another really talented point guard. Well, develop your skills so you can play the shooting guard position. Nice shot there by Luttrell as it falls. Where you can hit the open three-point shot, that you're not just a one-trick pony, so to speak.
And here's Isaacs takes that jumper. Her jump shot is improved. But here's my last major point to make on that one is that so often you watch kids and you talk about kids from a perspective of what they can do offensively. But when you get to elite competition, whether it be USA basketball, whether it be, the summer circuit, whether it be the next level in terms of college basketball, position and where you play has so much more to do with who you can guard
than
it does with what you can do offensively. There are tons of teams that play. Notre Dame did this a lot, over time when they had stretch fours that were 6'3", 6'4", that would face the basket but then guard the post.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so many times when you can kind of invert. We've talked about posting up guards and different things like that. You can kind of invert and work your offense one way, but how do we match up defensively is pretty much all that matters to coaches at the elite level. Who on the floor can you guard? And I don't care how good you are offensively. Most of the time, unless you're Katie Lou Samuelson, most of the time, if you can't guard anybody, if you're not a good matchup, if you need to be on the weakest person on the floor, you find your way to the bench faster.
Yeah.
Unless you're Katie Lou Samuelson.
In which case, you're just so good offensively.
Yeah, we'll just figure something out. We'll play zone. Because I haven't seen her guard somebody in 4 years.
Well, do you anticipate that being a problem, playing for Connecticut ever? For KLS?
No, because it wasn't a problem for Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. The other 4 people will guard really, really well.
Well, that'll do it here for game number 3. We do appreciate you joining us here on the SUV TV broadcast. I'm Jonathan Hemingway. He's Kyle Moore. Hope that you learned a little bit about the game of basketball and positions on the court. We got one more game on the way here from Wilson Central High School. Stay tuned.